book of Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, chapter 11 and verse 25. In the day of prosperity, there's a forgetfulness of affliction. And in the day of affliction, there's no remembrance of prosperity. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, all glory, all praise to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Rekahakwadash. I want to give double honors to my apostles, my bishops, my elders of Great Millstone. I want to give double honors to the high priest elders that taught those men. Salutations to you brothers that are presenting your bodies as a living sacrifice, pushing the gospel of the Lord Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, through the four corners of the earth. And to you believers, the Akim and Akwathian, to you I say Shalom. And again, this brother Bauman Locke out of the Great Millstone Camp, Austin, coming at you with a quick lesson. And this lesson here is inspired, once again, by a video of Homestead Journey. And it says, matter of fact, I'm going to make this small. It says, matter of fact, I get it right here. It says, Americans, the middle class Americans are finally speaking out. Middle class Americans are finally speaking out about what? The conditions, in America, Babylon the Great. What? Because America, Babylon the Great, y'all have lived deliciously. You Babylonians, you live comfortable. You got accustomed, to the so-called high life. You got accustomed to traveling. You got accustomed to jobs being readily available. You got accustomed to food prices being low. You got accustomed to everything here in Babylon the Great. The scriptures, we can read them every day. The book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 10, it tells us, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, for it's polluted. It shall destroy you even with a sore destruction. Roughly paraphrasing it. That's Micah 2 and 10. And you Americans, y'all don't got real comfortable. And again, this lesson says what? The middle class Americans are finally speaking out about the cost of living crisis. That's why I came out of the book Ecclesiasticus, chapter 11 and verse 25, Sirach 11 and 25, and I'll read it again. It say, in the day of prosperity, there is a forgetfulness of affliction. See, in the day of, let's look up this word prosperity real quick. I already got it, queued up. Let's open up the tab. Prosperity. This is an Eptimon online. Flourishing of thriving conditions. See? Once upon a time, prior to what? 2020 or 2018, and really you can go as far as back to 2008 after the housing crash of 2008, the subprime mortgage crash, things have got difficult here in America, Babylon the Great. So let's go back to it. Prosperity, flourishing of thriving conditions, good fortune, wealth, success, in anything good or desirable. That's exactly the sentiment that you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans and the heathen nations and the wicked of the nations, which would be Esau, Edom, the so-called self-professed white man, woman, and child. So let's go back to the precept. Now you got to understand what prosperity is. It says in the day of prosperity, wealth, great success, there's a forgetfulness of affliction. See, when you thriving and you doing well, you forget, affliction. And let me throw this out there. The Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, you can't afford to forget your affliction. And we have some well-to-do, Israelites who have achieved the so-called American dream here in Babylon the Great. So they don't forget, the affliction. But now that these curses, and that not curses, but what? Prophecy is starting to take place here in America, Babylon the Great. Now everybody's starting to feel the afflictions. The middle class is starting to feel the affliction. You so-called what? High earners. You people that make over $100,000 a year, you're starting to feel the affliction. But there was a time when, you had great success, wealth. So now it says in the day of prosperity, there's a forgetfulness of affliction. And in the day of affliction, there is no more remembrance of prosperity. See, now y'all forgetting. You're forgetting like, damn, Well, y'all long for the golden years, and the scriptures tell you that you shouldn't long for the old. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get that real quick. Let's go to let me open up this, and I think it's in the NLT. Let's go to a new tab. Let's get this real quick. Let's go to it's quick now. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 7th chapter. We want it in the I think it's in NLT. Let's get that in NLT. Yeah. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 10. It say, don't long for the good old days. This is not wise. So you shouldn't long for the good old days. That's not wise. And we know that Esau, Edom, they always, the so-called self-professed white man, woman, and child, that's the first thing that come to their mind when difficulties hit them. They start longing for the good old days. The good old days where they had you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans in hardcore bondage. Where they was able to persecute you and hang you and do all those hateful and disgusting things to you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. See, Esau, Edom, they always longing for the good old days. Let's read that again. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 10. This is in the NLT. Don't long for the good old days. This is not wise. See, you shouldn't long for the good old days. It's not wise. But we know that fools hate knowledge. The book of Proverbs tells us that fools hate knowledge. So when we go back to the book of Ecclesiastes 11 and 25, this is my third or fourth time reading it. Yeah. It's in the day of prosperity, there's a forgiveness of affliction. In the day of affliction, there's no more remembrance of prosperity. And you Americans, Babylonians, y'all are forgetting y'all prosperity. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. So we're going to go to the video, and we're going to play some of the video, and then we're going to hit a couple precepts, and we're going to close it out. So again, I'm going to call fair use, fair use. I'm not making any monetary gains off this video. It's only used for educational purposes only, teaching of the Holy Scriptures. So let's get to it.
Jobs and living off the government now, or what? Because our jobs are not enough to pay the freaking bills, buy the groceries, pay for the gas, and buy all the things that you got to have to live. And going out and having fun, you can hang that up, because it ain't happening on the paycheck. Might have to go take me out a whole ass loan just to live life. I mean, at this point, we just living to work, and there ain't no working to live, because we ain't living. I mean, at least I'm not.
So when do we stop?
See, and you often hear Apostle Gabar, he tell you, he said he didn't start living until he started coming to the sanctuary of the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, man. And that's how all the brothers feel, man. While the Americans and the Babylonians and 2/3 of the Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans are complaining about life, man, we're rejoicing, because prophecy is being fulfilled right before our very eyes. Prime example, this one precept, which we read it every day. This scripture got to come out every day. Let's get it real quick. We're going to go to the book of Proverbs. Let's open the tab. Let's go to the book of Proverbs. The book of Proverbs, chapter 29, and verse 2. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And man, the people are mourning here in Babylon the Great, man, because they mourning what? The inflation of the food prices. You can't find affordable housing. 1-bedroom apartments are running, $1,700, $1,800. You got a war that's not going to end. And we're telling you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans that when your sons and your daughters get drafted into this third world's war that's spoken of in the book of Revelation 11 and 14, that they're not coming back. So, You need to prepare yourselves. You need to tell your sons and your daughters, especially you Israelites, you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, that, hey, this is not your battle. See, y'all had a little sense when they did the No Kings rally, that y'all say, okay, this is not our fight. Now you need to understand that none of this is your fight. None of this is your battle. Turn back to the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. Because the earth is given into the what? The hand of the wicked. Job 9:24. I'm not even going to read it. Go read Job 9:24. Again, Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, when the true Israelites, when we come back, into our what? God-like state, that's when the people going to rejoice. It say when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And Esau, Edom, the so-called self-professed white man, they in rulership, so the people are mourning. The people are mourning. Hence, that's why you got this lady right here. Let's go back to her.
Being broken.
Let's listen
Can
to what this
anybody
lady got to
answer that?
say.
Because it seems like the longer we go, the worse it gets. This isn't even a political thing. It doesn't matter which side of the aisle you sit on. It's only been getting worse every year for, I don't know, the last 4 or 5 decades. If you look at other nations,
See? She said the last 4 or 5 decades. Even though we know she haven't been living, no 4 decades. She don't look like she appear to be in her 40s. But we know that she's mourning. And that's the sentiment that all you Babylonians are start to spread when y'all go on these social media sites. The people are mourning, man. And that's part of prophecy being fulfilled right before your very eyes.
It seems like as the time goes, their nation gets better, not just with technology, but with society and also their economy. And yet somehow we have cameras that can zoom in on your neighbor doing weird shit in their yard, and our economy still sucks ass.
My mom sent me an article 2 weeks ago that said 49% of people under the age of 30 in the United States are living at home with their parents. Not that we should ever compare, but use that metric to either feel good about yourself or make.
See, living at home with their parents, man. That's a high percentage of people, and there's nothing wrong with that. Under other circumstances, if you're just trying to, get ahead in life, but we understand this, again, it's prophecy, man. Let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 4 and verse 17. Because you got a base man that's in rulership. It says, this is Daniel 4 and 17. It says, this matter is by the decree of the watchers and demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of man. And a base man, to have the conditions, where it's just unlivable. I.e., whether it's the damn air quality, the living arrangement, i.e. not being able, you got world hunger, when you got more than enough food to feed people in the world, but a base man is in control of the earth. And we know that base man is Esau Edom, the so-called self-professed white man. Let's go back to the video.
Maybe not being at home with your parents, or telling yourself, hey, it's okay. There are millions of other people in the same position as me if you are living at home with your parents.
Man, millions of people are just like her because again, Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And the people are mourning, man. People mourning because you got a wicked ruler, that's in charge. And the wicked ruler, most importantly, they only concerned about the small hats over there in Israel. The Ish people. Ish mean pertaining to. Let's go back. Matter of fact, we through with this video. We won't have to listen to any more, man. Let's just go to the precepts. Let's go to the scriptures, that is. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12. I know I had it up here. There we go. It says in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 1, and it reads, remember now the Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come nigh, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. And And that's a sentiment that's being spread, here in Babylon the Great. The people saying what? I have no pleasure in them. They don't have no pleasure in these days. You have people saying that if they would rather go back to the spirit world right now than what? To really endure in these times. In the days of thy youth was back in ancient Egypt. Verse 2, it says, while the sun or the light or the moon or stars be not darkened, and it's going to be darkened when the Third World War hit. When the Third World War, when they start shooting them intercontinental ballistic missiles over here in America, Babylon the Great, man, that's how the moon and the stars going to be darkened. So you should be remembering the Creator right now. See, because there's going to come a time where you ain't going to be able to say, Lord, you can go get that in, I think, St. Matthew, the 10th chapter. I called on your name, Lord. Y'all called on JC. JC don't exist. You got to know the name of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and 2, it say, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. Verse 3, and it says, verse 3, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out the window be darkened, man. And the keepers of the house, we know that those are the economists. They telling y'all that, oh, things are getting bad. Things are never going back to normal. The Babylonian Empire is no longer as y'all once knew it. That's the economists. That's what they're saying. Who are the strong men? The strong men are the people that your current president worked for. The elite banking families, man. That's who they work for. And we know what it said, the grinder cease. And you know what that means, because what you Babylonians, you Americans say, man, I'm on my grind. Why the grind is ceased. Now you ain't gonna be able to go get your hustle man. You ain't gonna be able to do all these odd jobs, because the grinding is about to be ceased, man. Verse 4, Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 4, and the doors shall be shut. It says the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the birds, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And that's going into, man, the people are, that prosperity that the people, I read Ecclesiastes 11 and 25. All that, this is the time of affliction, man, that you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, you getting caught up in. Because y'all don't remember the Creator in the days of thy youth, man. While the evil days come not. It's a wrap for Babylon the Great, America. It's a wrap. So we rejoicing. We're rejoicing because what? Prophecy is being fulfilled right before our very eyes. That you Americans, you Babylonians are complaining, groaning, and crying and sighing. But you're still not turning back to the Most High Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. So we're going to close it out there. I pray this lesson been edifying. I want to give all honor, all glory, all praise to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'Hashem, Rekah HaKodash. I want to give double honors to my apostles, my bishops, my elders of Great Millstone. I want to give double honors to the high priest elders that taught those men. Salutations to you brothers that are presenting your bodies as a living sacrifice, pushing the gospel of the Lord, Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shah, through the four corners of the earth. Shalom.